Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, want to get into dealing with filters. What I mean by filters, just like when you go on Instagram and you got these filters. You got the little funny filters from Snapchat. People do the little dog face. People like doing the little dog face filter. A filter where it have little sparkles and make the picture look way more glamorous. You know what I'm saying? And even though nothing's wrong with uh, you have that freedom to use those filters on Instagram, but it is distorting people's perception of how they see you. It's like, oh, look at the sparkles, this and that. But then if they saw you in real life, it's like, wait, who is that? The filter remove. It's like, they're dealing with the real thing. But speaking a little bit about that, and also about this dimensional shift we're going through right now, and basically the continuously cleaning of our subconscious mind, deprogramming our mind to reprogram it, and connecting with higher self, breaking out of duality and out of that dual mind, in which the last few days, I want to say like the last 3 days right before January 1st, aka the New Year's, but I felt like a DMT is like, DMT, LSD, like type of feel, like a psychedelic, you know, uh, almost like tripping the last few days as far as the way I've been exposed to like, certain inner vibrations. I done spoke to that, like, with the acid and the DMT, how it basically shines a light on your shadow self and shines a light on these perspectives. The matter of fact, basically shine a light on your filters, actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, for lack of a better word, like these filters that we have in our subconscious mind, Matter of fact, I even wrote that lesson loops and psychedelic experiences are basically trying to show us the filters that we have in our subconscious mind that we are. Lesson loops and psychedelic experiences are basically trying to show us the filters that we have in our subconscious mind that's creating our reality, and it shows us all those filters, whether those filters are something that is straight upfront beneficial to us, or the reason why I say upfront beneficial, because I did have like beneficial or hindering, but even the hindrance is a growing experience. So as much as it would seem like it's not beneficial for you, the hindering situation is beneficial as well. Again, no dual nature. It's realizing that it's not like good and then there's bad. No, good and bad are the same thing. They're just polar opposites. You know what I'm saying? Of defining the experience in essence. You know what I'm saying? But they are the same thing. Cold and hot are both descriptions of the water, or of, whatever you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying? Just one is on the extreme, both dealing with one thing, you know what I'm saying? So again, there's no, oh, all the hot things are over here and all the cold things are over here and they're up against each other, in this battle. Because another thing too, I want to, speak on as well is how they try to trick us into this dual mind or this dual nature, you know. So you could, matter of fact, like I spoke about Constantine in the recent video, like Constantine's character is the archetypical representation of what happens to you when you externalize, your spiritual growth, or when you externalize the inner battle, you know what I'm saying? So, we dealing with our inner demons, our inner lower vibrations, but it's an inner battle, you know what I'm saying? Compared to where you externalize it, so like Constantine, he dealing with all kind of shit, losing his friends, this and that, because he's so caught up in an externalized battle with these demons. That that's a personification of Constantine's character. Whether the people who wrote, dealing with DC Comics realize it or purposely put it out there or not, but the way it's presented, you could clearly see that it's a representation. Not say clearly, but you could see that is a representation of somebody, externalizing that battle. But so one of the things you may be noticing right now, it's like whenever you go to make a decision, if you feeling like, you made a wrong choice, like you make a decision. So say for instance, I've been dealing with balance where, the vibe of like sometimes lately I've been, I didn't ate the black eyed peas and cabbage, I ate gumbo when I first got out here, what I'm saying, eating these different foods that, from let it be told from the perspective of the health police. And I'm joking, but like, because in general though, those things aren't the healthiest thing to eat. But again, just jokingly clowning about it. But you know I could have looked at those decisions as, oh man, I made the wrong decision, or that was a bad decision. But again, I didn't. And if I would have, and I made a video about that, like how, like, well, you're looking at the ingredients list on a certain food, or or like creating a negative outlook towards something you're about to eat, like, then you might as well not eat it, you know what I'm saying? And, with the decision making, we're going to have a vibe. Because, say, for instance, as we're shifting into 5D, that 3D self is basically, as above, so below, just like the government, government, shadow government, people trying to oppress. I don't use words like elite and Illuminati because I'm not giving them that power. They basically, matter of fact, they are the real rebels. They rebelling against Source right now, rebelling against 5D consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So they the rebels. We not rebelling against them. We're in alignment with Source. We're in alignment with transformation and with the spiritual growth. They the ones rebelling. But anyway, where was I? See, I went off on a rant. I was talking about when we're making decisions, feeling like we made a wrong choice. It'll get back to where I was, but just back with that vibe, like there's no, wrong decisions. Again, as above, so below. The inner universe, what's going on in the inner universe, going on externally. So those little parts inside of us that's still trying to hold on to that 3D concept of duality, and this is wrong and that is right, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of bubbling up to the top, you know what I'm saying? And basically, like, again, that's what I was gonna say. How the government is basically, they done ran out of bullets, so they throwing the gun. Have you ever heard that expression? Like, well, basically, these people fighting a losing battle and they done ran out of ammo, so they just trying to throw anything at us because they done, it's a, and quote unquote, when I say lost or losing battle, again, because even when saying that, if I don't address it, you could become in a mind frame of duel. Oh, it's me against them or us against them, you know what I'm saying? When it's really just an inner battle. Again, it's really just us being the change we want to see. And I'm gonna get into that as well, because there is a trick with that too. As a matter of fact, just speaking on it, being the change we want to see. Because here it is, like when we be the change we want to see, our actions will automatically line up with getting rid of or transmuting these energies that are harming the external world. So, if you feel like, they messing up the trees, or they doing this, they doing that, and you feeling like, oh, I'm up against them, they're my opposition. It's like, no, well, now you creating that opposition. Same thing with the mind frame of, like, with competition. I use the example with Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt running a race, he's not focused on, oh, I gotta beat these other guys. He's focused on winning the race. And what he goes out there does is win the race. While other people, that he racing, that's within that race, they like, oh, I gotta beat Usain Bolt. So their focus is on Usain Bolt, and they giving Usain Bolt the energy to win the race. You know what I'm saying? So again, there is competition is illusion. Like I could have a crystal shop around 1 million crystal shops. You know, and still thrive, because it's about me being my greatest version, like making my crystal shop, best to what I feel the best of my ability is, dealing with that, and the rest will show, you know what I'm saying? again, it's only illusion that, oh no, there's competition, and because when you go to having that mind frame, then you're actually creating it. And again, we got to go back to the simplest blueprint of it. Our thoughts and words manifest into the physical. What we focus on manifests into the physical. And again, when I bring up, being the change we want to see and doing inner work first and foremost, that doesn't mean turn the other cheek or put your head in the sand. Is actually the complete opposite. Is doing, making sure you do the inner work. And again, as you start to work on yourself and raise your vibration, like indirectly, again, we by just our true nature, we're gonna be active. We're gonna take action in our days. It's not like we, you know, again, not like I'm saying meditate and in a vegetable like way, and not knocking nobody who does, because again, there's different levels to different people's growth and experience down here on this realm. But again, it's the inner, universe. Because again, as I constantly eat healthily, and then and then subconsciously work on myself and program my subconscious to manifest things on a high level, then I'm actually gonna, and I ain't say indirectly, but just indirectly or directly, as I work on my inner universe, it trickles externally. So whatever actions I make is gonna be lined up with source. And when you lined up with source, the actions you take and make are gonna be the type of actions that's gonna eliminate things that aren't lined up with source. So therefore, showing you that you don't have to focus on it to eliminate it. Cause it's the same thing. Like that's a backwards eye. That's almost like, all right, to move past my ex girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm gonna focus on them. You know what I'm saying? Like no, then you constantly dealing with back and forth and text messages, stuff like that. You know, dealing with somebody. Matter of fact, if I didn't write that down, you know, you find yourself, back and forth dealing with somebody. You know, matter of fact, if I didn't, I did. But anyway, oh well, yeah, doing anything to get your attention. Like so, say for instance, like you still texting and explaining yourself to somebody you should have detached your energy from a long time ago. Same thing with again with what the government, the people pressing the people the rebels who's against source. You know what I'm saying? like those people are just trying to get you to pay attention to them in any way, form, or fashion. That's why they made Donald Trump the president right now. Cause who better, what better entertainment to like? Cause even think about it, like even as a being who knows better, even I catch the urges to just want to see what dumb shit that they putting out there just because I know they it has that entertainment vibe, it's pulling at that vibration, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's just anything that attention, and that's how people do. Like whenever you know you realize your full potential and you start growing away from certain people, and they just like hey, but you forgot about this, or don't forget about like still trying to keep you giving them attention. And as long as you give them your undivided attention, and again, this doesn't mean to have awareness of what's going on around you. Of course we're going to have awareness of what's going on around us, but there's a certain level of awareness. Again, I just came up with this. You got awareness, then it seeps into the level of beware, like be aware. So like like a little stronger than just awareness to fear, you know what I'm saying? To where is a thin line right there. You know what I'm saying? Like you have just enough awareness, because that's all you need is enough awareness to be tactful at the way of what you doing. Like, bam, they trying to push transhumanism on us. So I got that awareness. I don't have to constantly watch the news and see them talking about transhumanism to be able to combat it. Because now, again, here it is where now I'm just watching it out, watching it, and I'm feeding the few. Because again, what's going on in our subconscious mind manifests into the physical. You know, that's why some people, again, just all about just any way, form, or fashion, just like, hey, just look at me, because again, our conscious mind is going to carry energies again, just like our spiritual work, we getting rid of these old hindering aspects that no longer serve us. And the same thing with the external world. There's a lot of, external energies that don't serve us, like it doesn't serve us to give our focus and attention to it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, as we take our attention and focus away from it, then, again, just look at our universe and how, like, as we start cleaning up ourselves, say for instance, we start to become like, kind of by ourselves in the beginning stages of our growth. Why? Because we were doing the inner work. We were getting out all these different things. You start to realize, well, damn, like all those things around me, were toxic. But when I stop giving it that focus, and again, we co-creating you in this world, you know what I'm saying? This doesn't mean, we running away from people or hiding from looking at stuff and this and that. Again, it's just not, hiding. It's just the understanding that, again, you want to give the most minimum amount of focus to things that hinder your spiritual growth. Like, if it doesn't serve your spiritual growth, it's harmful to it. You know what I'm saying? Point blank period. It stops the ascension. So back with the with the vibes right now, we breaking out of this dual state of mind. So like right now, you might catch a vibe of like when you're making decisions, you feel like you made a wrong decision, because that's that dual mind still fighting to stay alive. Like fighting to create that dualism within you. But then it's realizing like there's no right or wrong choice. I made the choice. It could be considered something on this side of the pole or something on this side of the pole. But think about it. Like when you look at a pole, like you got this side of the polarity, this side of polarity, but it's one pin. It's still one pin. It's not one end going against the other. You know what I'm saying? Because again, as you create that's where they want you. Because if, like, say for instance, if I'm coming at somebody and I know their mind manifests into the physical, then I'm gonna try to implant things into their subconscious so they could manifest the realm that I want to see. You know what I'm saying? And I done spoke on too how they come at trying to create a dual nature within your psyche, or they try to get you to be one side. They try to get you to be over masculine or over feminine, or they try to come at your sacral chakra energy, your sacral slash dantian slash spleen chakra, because that, again, that also that's our energy source in essence. You know what I'm saying? I done did video speaking on the spleen chakra. I just did one recently on the sacral chakra and how they, is all about trying to work that magic of, manipulating your sacral chakra, and get you to be over emotional, and like over friendly, because and over like being over desirable, you know what I'm saying? Like not over desire, but like you're desiring and over egotistical in essence, because the sacral chakra does deal with ego. So they're keying in on that little area. But again, as we're shifting up into this 5D consciousness, that old 3D consciousness is still trying to pull at our little coattail and try to stop us from ascending. So you may be experiencing, again, this little dual, this dual mind frame, dual consciousness still popping up within. But, it's just kind of, again, it's just that old energy, just trying to stay alive, and indirectly though showing us, again, what filters, that was harming us, in our growth, like, what I'm saying, because we got like these certain dual ways of looking at things, these certain filters that hinder our spiritual growth. So say for instance, like if you're making a decision you feel like it's the wrong choice, it's also showing you, hey, like in this area you still have a dual way of thinking. Maybe you want to, look into fixing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why we're being exposed to these things. So it's basically, again, like our old 3D conscious of duality, trying to stay alive as we moving into this 5D existence. Matter of fact, you also be going through the vibe, because again, you know, because we move in our place too of judgment. Like we want to eliminate all judgment. Of course, you're gonna have discernment, you know, of like, all right, you know, that energy, it seemed like that energy they giving off and the way they present themselves, they probably harmful towards my energy. You know, there's a difference between discernment and judgment as far as like, oh, like because that person smokes herb, they stupid. You know, that's not discernment, that's judging. You know what I'm saying? That's a difference. You know, it's like, oh, because I ate some black eyed peas and cabbage, I'm bad, and that was a bad decision. You know, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't have woke up feeling so good right now. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I see it did have its effects to the extent of where it made me sleep longer, but again, everything is lined up. You know, we in the winter time. This is not New Year. We still hibernate. You know what I'm saying? Building up the vibe. You know, going in to the springtime. You know, but like if I was to look at that mirror, it's like, oh, what I did is bad, and you know, me again, like that old the ego. Once you sniff the ego out in one place, it try to hide in another place. You know what I'm saying? And it, again, it's you know, causing you to be fearful or judgmental. That's not your higher self. That's not your, you know, your inner source. You know, and again, if you are, you know, if those type of thoughts, the dual nature and fear pop up, that's also to not be scared. Is to, you know, dig deep and see like, all right, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And again, like if we feeling like certain information when people speaking about it, are they wrong? You know, are they right? Like if you feeling like either side, like, you know, but more so like if you're looking at it as if like, oh, they just completely wrong, then that's you still having that dual nature, not realizing, well, like, hey, we all have our you know, our experience, and it's no wrong or right. Of course, this thing could be, you know, you know, accurate information or inaccurate information, or you know, you know, it's different aspects, but again, it's no like dual nature of like that's right and that should be over there and this is wrong and this should be over here. You know, it's a you know, we falling from out of that that way, you know, that perspective in essence. So matter of fact, see, matter of fact, so yeah, and this contrast is also shown as a lesson to show us the areas where we still have a dual nature of viewing things, you know, or a dual, you know, filter, you know, still have that dual, that filtering that's creating that dual nature, you know, that's right, this wrong, you know what I'm saying? So again, this is coming up to show us those areas where we still have those filters, you know, again, uh, those filters that hinder our spiritual growth, you know what I'm saying? So it is that aspect, you know, and again with filters, matter of fact, shout out to Teal Swan, because on the aspect of dealing with filters, she had did a little experiment where she did a video, and she had this brethren talking on it, you know, like giving out, like he's like a health coach or like a life coach type of vibe, and like here's the steps to doing this, you know, and basically she put it on the video, and then she came back. Well, I forgot how she did exactly, but basically what she did was she did an experiment where she was like, hey, you know, this guy, like she just said, watch it at first, and then she come back and said, now what I didn't tell you is this guy murdered his wife, or murdered his girlfriend the next day, you know what I'm saying? And then she was like, now I'll rewatch it, you know what I'm saying? And then she come back to say, now what I just did earlier was all clown. Like she was like, this guy really didn't, you know, kill his wife or whatever. But she was like, but like, look at the way you view it. Like, you know, 9 times out of 10, not say 9 times 10, but it most likely, you know, she was like, you probably viewed him from that. Like after I painted that picture or gave that filter, you know, I gave you this filter to look out of. You know, you had that perspective that, all right, like, yeah, he really did be the wife, you know what I'm saying? And again, coming back and then saying like, hey, he really didn't. So to show you how just from her putting that filter out there, you probably put the same filter over, you know. And with the situation, I felt like when I was watching, I felt like something was funny, like was real. Matter of fact, shout out to the intuition. But like, I was just feeling like something fishy. Like I felt like she doing something with this, you know. Because I'm like, when I'm watching, I'm like, really, this dude killed his wife the next day. I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel nothing alarming, you know what I'm saying? Of course, and again, knowing the nature of beings, you know, somebody that may seem like everything is peach and this and that, but as a, you know, being sensitive to energy and just in general being able to read people, like you could tell when though it's like that I'm being happy because I'm hiding something compared to I'm genuinely, you know, happy. But, you know, she did that experiment just to show, you know, how these filters could be put up, you know, and just dealing with the different filters. Matter of fact, filter basically anything that distorts or shape our perception of something so that it obscures the reality of what's going on. Matter of fact, I actually got that definition from Till's video, you know. And matter of fact, as she said, I'm like, all right, that feels like a, you know, a strong definition. But yeah, anything, so filter, anything that distorts or shapes our perception of something so that it obscures the reality of what's going on. You know, again, like I spoke about the Instagram filters, you know, you could put an old school filter on and make it seem like you took the picture a long time ago. But when the reality is you didn't. You know what I'm saying? But that filter will give people the idea that you did. You know what I'm saying? So we see how these filters, again, you know, when dealing with filters, you know, within ourselves, you know, how it becomes, you know, harmful in essence. And matter of fact, and you always catch that vibe of like how it's easy to point out those filters, you know, in other people, you know, where you could tell like this person dealing with uh, you know, this energy, or that person dealing with that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to point out others' filters, but again, that's why there are the lesson loops for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, you know, we constantly go through certain situations for it to be shown. You know, where in our own psyche we have, because again, like our subconscious mind, you know, is what creates our experience, and for the most part, our subconscious mind is where, you know, where these filters are in essence. You know, these filters govern the way, you know, govern your experience. Like, so say for instance, you know, like with a filter of like, say for instance, because I got more than one, I'm gonna just get into some different ones and I'm gonna paint a picture. But you got like the filter of parent child, you know what I'm saying? Like where the parent has a certain filter on a perspective, like I'm the parent and I gotta do it like this, you know, with the child, like, you know, I'm not a parent. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't view it that same way. You know, maybe looking at the same thing, like going to the fair, you know, the parents see it as, oh no, they putting the parent filter on it, like they could get into this, they could get into that, and that. And the kid looking at the fair like I'm about to have fun, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Both looking at the same scenario, two different pictures, you know what I'm saying? So again, not saying neither is, oh, one has a good perspective, one, because again, we just finished talking about that. Just again, just showing how their filters, you know, uh, distort or shape their perception of the way of looking at things. You know, like awakened and unawakened people. You know, quote unquote. You know, one person see a football game and like, oh man, the Saints playing the such and such. You know, man, that's gonna be a good game and this and that. You know, while somebody else with a different filter like, oh shit, they still trying to brainwash us with sports. Like, you know, all that gaming shit and this and that is another vibe for slavery and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, depends on the filter, you know, because one person, you know, haven't been exposed to the bigger picture of things, so they have this filter about football and sports that it's all just fun and games and, you know, and entertainment, and it's something, you know, good for us, instead of it being something that the government is pushing to, you know, brainwash and to, you know, to deter you from your spiritual growth. So again, you see, like, with these different filters, same thing with the filter, being quote unquote black or white in America. You got some people, got that filter of the government trying to help, and I'm gonna vote this time. You know what I'm saying? And voting really matters, and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they have the filter, from beginning. This government has proved to support them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are a white person in America, the government has, allowed for you to I don't know how to say it, put on the filter, or just, promoting the filter of seeing this thing as, oh, this is beneficial, and we could make this happen. And this is why, on the opposite side, being black or melanated, but for this, since I use white and black, we're gonna just stay in that round. Again, but your perspective is gonna be totally different, because you see a jailhouse that's filled with people that look like you. You see a system that just constantly always fails and never was trying to help support you. And when one of the presidents did, they killed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you have a different, again, a different filter in essence, with with looking, and both looking at the same government, same politics, but different filters, because one was getting their ass whipped, and being slaves for most of the time in this country, while some was benefiting from that slavery and somebody else getting their ass whipped. So it's, again, two different views, and understanding that too, like, in order for us to be open and to just grow in general, we got to realize to remove our filters, uh or to be aware of our filters, so when we are having an open discussion, it's like, well, hey, like, say, if I'm a white person, I be I gotta I acknowledge, like, hey, well, with the perspective of police, I'm only speaking from the filter of being white, and and dealing with, being white, they treat us different. They don't harass us and like that. So when I'm speaking on police with a black person, I know not to make it seem like, oh, all policemen are great, because I see that filter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like us stepping into that place of, you know what I'm saying, a more empathetic, loving, and understanding place. You know what I'm saying? To removing these filters. Again, like, where the filter created in America, where uh, all black people aren't even humans, and should be slaves, and they all are dangerous. So you know throughout people day, when they come across a black person, they got that filter of, like, oh, this is a person that's less of me, and they dangerous. Like, so you placing that filter, and again, all coincided to the bigger picture of us cleaning out our subconscious, because the filter, that duality filter, that's all subconscious mind program, and that's all things that you know as soon as we came down this physical plane, we've been being programmed by our guardians, or whoever we were with in the beginning stages of our life. No matter of fact, when you think about little movies that might have a little kid born in a family of wolves or in the nature and stuff like that, and all they know is like, they don't know no human words, no human actions. Why? Because throughout the beginning, all they knew from the first day was this wolf raising me, or this this bear raising, I think, Jungle Book or something like that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, all your subconscious is gonna know is what's been filtered in. You know what I'm saying? And from the filter of a wolf, let's say, for instance, even though you're a human, let's say, again, with that scenario, and they got, like, some humans walking in the forest, you're not looking at, say, for instance, from that perspective of a human that's being raised by animals. All you know is being raised by those animals, and one of the images they told you about is run from, from them beings, in essence, that look like you. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, again, is that filter compared to where the humans looking at you like, what the hell going on with you? Like, why you living with these wolves and this and that? Why you like, what the fuck wrong with y'all? And these wolves told me not to fuck with y'all, even though I look like y'all. You know, it's like I don't know. But again, filters. Where you all looking at the same thing, but having a certain filter. And matter of fact, that uh, and which the point Till Swan was making too is like how dangerous filters could be when you're not realizing that, you know, when you're looking at this realm of existence through all these different filters, you're kind of distorting your view. You know what I'm saying? When you're still looking at the Jesus aspect through the filter of the Catholic Church, then you're not gonna get a truer perspective of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's distorted by by that filter. Again, distort anything that distorts or shapes our perception of something so that it obscures the reality of what's going on. What's really going on? Jesus wasn't a historical character, and it's about the Christ energy. It had 16 crucified saviors that existed way before that with the same exact stories. Go check out Cursed Graves books. But so what we see, that filter that that Constantine put up there, distorted people's perception, or distorted people, obscured the reality, you know what I'm saying, and the way people view things, from uh slave movies trying to create a filter, on black people where they look at themselves as less, less than, just like, matter of fact, just like the filter of like how a bigot or somebody racist may teach their kid, from an early stage to, be hateful, whatever. You know, Same thing that these like literature and books are like slave movies that constantly promote just the slave outlook instead of letting us know that we've been existing on this plane of existence since way before, you know, just long time, you know what I'm saying? But they promote these slave movies so you could constantly look at yourself through the filter of being a slave and not through the filter of being a primordial chaos God being that's here on a human experience, you know what I'm saying? It's like constantly programming you to be a slave, you know. You think about with the police situation, police brutality, where the police gonna speak on it like, oh, I believe I'm doing a great service and all cops are good, you know what I'm saying? Because they, again, going through that filter. Matter of fact, the filter of like everybody in the hood is bad and I gotta shoot them as soon as I come across them, in which not only that's a bullshit ass filter, but and speaking from the perspective of because I know that they are, in a lot of cases they taught to, they purposely shooting, but again, because even with me saying that, hey, don't take my word, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, within this lesson, showing right there, because with the Till Swan example, like which though I'm not falsely doing no experiment though, I know from what I see, but even still, you gotta peep it for yourself, you know what I'm saying? But you know, basically, having filters, also takes away from that discernment of the heart where you just got to outlook at certain things just because of the filter, not because of you're using your heart chakra balance and discernment to just really see what's going on for what it is instead of just having a uh just a outlook already before ahead of time of like looking at it. And you think about like experiences create filters as well, matter of fact, dealing with the subconscious mind again, like if you have the experience of getting pinched by a crawfish or getting bit by a dog, again, now you you could possibly put up a filter where it's like, oh, all crawfish and dogs are dangerous. And the reality of the situation is that's not true. But you taking, one experience and placing a filter, over the whole situation where it's like, well, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like one, uh, one person, or like some people, turn men, not turn. Some people wanted me to be a slave and this and that. So all of those people that look like that, gotta be hating me or against me, or if one person, that look a certain way might have robbed me in the street or this and that, then all of them that look like that gonna rob me. you know it's like taking that one experience. Then I think about the filters where it's just word of mouth filters, like with roaches and spiders, and like, just certain little animals where people like, oh no, like, and you ain't even had no, like, roach ain't never bit you before. You never went to the hospital due to, like, the doctor be like, hey, you're in this hospital because you got the roaches. You have allowed a roach to crawl on you, or you have allowed a roach to crawl on your food, or roach, did this, and now you're here because of actual roaches. Like, raise your hand if you ever in life, you know, had a sickness from the roaches, and the doctor told you that that's exactly what you're dealing with is because of roaches is why you're sick. you know. And I know, looking around me, like, I don't know anyone in my experience. I've been on this plane of existence for about 31 Earth years. Like, I came across a video that said something about you being able to actually get sick from roaches or something. Like, that was the first and only time here. Like, other than that, and I grew up in the hood. You, you know, our houses were no strangers to roaches. It is what it is. you know, like I think about no, yeah, like the fact that, at certain places, it's a fact that a roach probably crawled on your food or something without you knowing it. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's that filter where it's like, oh, well, I ain't dealing with no roaches and no spiders at all because so and so told me about how that spider bit them. So and so told me about how that white person robbed them. So and so told me how that Chinese person did this, or how this black person did this. So and so told me. So now I'm gonna just have a filter that I ain't fucking with all of. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's what that hard discernment. Because even with the acknowledgement, what I brought up, like with the story with Muhammad Ali, you know, and he had the little story about, not say story, but he was speaking on like how somebody was trying to call him racist, uh, for protecting himself in essence. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, I'm not racist. He was like, shit. He was like, all right, picture, Europeans, white people as a bunch of, like rattlesnakes. He was like, and he's like, out of those rattlesnakes, he was like, man, they got, like, so say for instance, like, I'm gonna give any number. They got 4,000 rattlesnakes, but only 500 of those rattlesnakes. Matter of fact, in his voice, there's about 1,000 rattlesnakes, and only about 500 of them rattlesnakes is gonna save me. Then what you think? Rush, I shade to Muhammad Ali, but he was like, out of those 4,000 rattlesnakes, 500 want to save me. That's cool. I'm grateful that those 500 want to, save me. Ain't saying that, but I'm, putting a little extra, like, that's all fine and dandy, but it's 500 of those snakes that, don't want to bite me, to the 4,000 that do. So it's just almost like a zombie movie, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, to make sure I don't get infected at all, it's like, just close the door, you know what I'm saying? But even in that being said, say for instance again, and that's how people, bullshit, like where they try to create a bullshit situation in that, where here it is, he's he's being interviewed by somebody white. You know what I'm saying? Like he's talking about like he got a management somebody dealing with his his business that he was working with was white. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, again, I don't hate white people. Again, it's just an acknowledgement of that. Of course, a few do want to help, but again, I'm not gonna just put myself in the midst of all those rattlesnakes just because a few of them want to help and a few of them have a good heart. It's like, but those few are outnumbered. You know, so again, it's not walking around like on some, oh yeah, I'm not dealing with no white person or you know what I'm saying? Like no, it's more so again just having a situation where I'm not gonna walk into a situation where it's put me to a place where I know that I'm around a bunch of rattlesnakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, when dealing again within my within my day, within my action, within what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, uh, again, it's not a I'm not filtering it out as if like, well, all white people are bad because a few are racist. It's like, or even because a lot are racist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Again, uh, I still don't have that filters. So basically, again, I'm showing you that balance of, filters and discernments. Well, that's more of a discernment of like, well, shit, I just know what's best in this situation. Like to have the discernment, to know like to not open myself up to this harm because I love myself. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't love myself, I wouldn't give a fuck. Oh, let them come in, let them bite the shit out of me. Oh, or hey, let's see if the 500 could save me, against the other 3,000 snakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, nah, it's discernment. Like, and discernment is not the same as creating a filter. Because again, having that discernment from situation to situation compared to a filter that's just saying bloop, that all people and all things of this situation is like that, and that's how I'm gonna treat it. It's like, nah, again, there's a difference, and we're moving away from, again, having that dual aspect, as in something's right, this person's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just an experience. Of course, getting hung from a tree and having people oppressors is not, it's not nothing to like raise the roof like whoop, whoop, that's nothing. Like that's nothing to, you know what I'm saying, by that gay day energy. That's nothing to be happy about, you know what I'm saying. But damn, what I was going with that. uh like I was gonna it was gonna speak to something dealing with discernment. I'll get back to it. But just again, there's different levels. You have the filters, filtering things out, giving just a certain distorted look to everything, you know. And then you have the actual discernment, you know, where you actually like, reading the fullness of the situation with logic and with what you're actually feeling, intuitively, you know what I'm saying? But and which I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna just finish talking about filters, matter of fact. And again, that dual nature, that dual mind frame popping back up, trying to make one thing wrong and this thing right. Again, that's what I was gonna speak of. Like knowing that we're not raising the roof about slavery or nothing like that, but realizing that it is the experience that we asked for, you know what I'm saying? Like it is the contrast, it is the pressure that makes a diamond, you know what I'm saying? So again, of course, we're not looking to be like, oh yeah, hang me, sir. Can I have another one, sir? It's not that type of vibe, but it is the type of vibe of, realizing on a higher level, these situations are the pressure that makes a diamond. Like we ask for this on our experience, like we ask for experience, and some could say like again, well, we trapped in this earthly plane. Yeah, that is also true. You know what I'm saying? But again, before being in this earthly plane, we were bouncing from different planes and different dimensions in general to have a different experience. It's just that this realm is like, it's on some other shit, where it's like, all right, like matter of fact, as I'm saying that, because I caught a download as I was speaking on that. Uh, Basically, felt a download as I was writing. They said that maybe this psychology of like with us being tricked to come down here, you know, uh, basically. Nah, I'm gonna go back to that. Apologies, y'all. Again, I'm dealing with hopping in and out of like little channels of vibing with information, and then uh, balancing it with looking at certain things. But again, uh, which is gonna go into this. So yeah, not looking at these situations again. It's like, oh, this person trying to harm me, or this is something bad. That's a bad situation. No, this is a situation. Again, we stepping up. We putting our big boy and girl pants on. You know what I'm saying? The big drawers and the big panties. We putting them on. As far as like realizing that we asked for this experience. You know what I'm saying? Like to look externally and feel like, oh, that person's wrong or right. Then we are stepping into the confusion, because that's where it's really, what keeps us down here is being confused and thinking, being trapped in the 3D consciousness, being trapped in the vibration of that I'm up against something. It's me against that thing, you know. And it's like, no, you came down here for experience. It's all two sides of one coin. And in order to create the experience, you have polarities, that exist within that, that realm. But it's not, again, no externalized battle. You know, which brings me back to that aspect again. You know, knowing that this battle also too, knowing that this battle is better fought in the realm of spirit. And again, as I say, fought again is the internal, realm. Like in order to, stop, like say for instance, like whatever little vibes that the government may be trying to do. It's about, you know, going and doing the inner work. And when I say inner work, again, it doesn't mean sitting down every single day of your time and not doing nothing. Inner work does not take that, you know. It's like paying tithes. Excuse me. Inner work takes just a certain amount of your time. It doesn't take your whole 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, again, inner subconscious programming, and keeping your vibration at a certain, level. Because if you're vibrating, again, the game is about just trying to troll you. It's like just trying to get you to look at me, just trying to get you to be dual in your thinking, or trying to get you to, again, which dual. So say for instance, when I said earlier, they either trying to get you to be dual in your thinking or being one-sided. Being one-sided is dual natured, like in the essence where like, oh, it's all about the masculine and not the feminine. It was all about the feminine, not the masculine. So it's like you viewing it as two separate things instead of two, you know, two poles that's a part of the same one. You know what I'm saying? Again, like this pen, one side got ink coming out of it, one side don't. One side completely wet, one side completely dry. But it's one pen. It's not, oh, do that little. I can't do it. The camera won't allow me to make it look like it's like bending. But again, one ink pen. Cause that's the whole trick, is trying to get us to, again, feel like there's some type of external battle. And I remember coming across people in Venice, certain people that, even though they had smiles and seemed like they were trying to help me, you know, my higher self always just kind of gave me this like funny feeling when I was around them, and they always like they said because it with anything, you gotta say some truth. So they would say most things right, but then they would always have a point of trying to make me fight against something. Like, yeah, like I remember one brother, would always kind of come like with updates, like the news, like, well, yeah, this going on and this and that. We gotta battle this energy, this and that. And I used to just say to myself, like, and I would have to like, nah, ain't about no external battle, like, but let me just hear him out. You know what I'm saying? But anybody that's trying to get you to externalize, you know, your spiritual growth or externalize this vibe of like, are you battling against something externally? Of course, again, there are external conditions that we're taking care of as well. But again, as you do your inner work, as you clean your vibration, as you meditate more to clear the egoic mind thoughts, as you connect with spirit more, and create more synchronicity in your manifestations. And meaning if you, because that's another thing too, what throws off your manifestation abilities is being in a lower vibratory state, you know. Whenever you're vibrating in the low frequency, you can't manifest things like that. So think about it like that. Who it would be of an advantage for you to not manifest things quick. So if I could get you in a state of fear, if I could get you in a state of thinking that you're battling against something outside of you, then you're gonna disconnect yourself from your inner source and you won't be able to manifest things as quick. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, playing into the hands of somebody who's, again, trying to stop you from being the change you want to see. But like, and with this example of, what we dealing with right now, again, dealing with this quote unquote battle in the realm of spirit, doing the inner works. And as we do the inner works, again, automatically our actions is going to line up with getting rid of the energies that, like, so again, like, oh, the government doing this or they doing that. Well, start doing your inner work. Pay attention to your inner universe, your inner work. And as you do that inner work, your actions are going to automatically line up. Like whenever you just say blah, like whenever the first thing that goes to come out of your mouth is going to be in alignment with your source. So you're going to say some shit that's going to be profound and, helpful towards, again, breaking down these energies that's trying to stop us from ascending, you know. But let's just say if I'm a better swimmer, and this is kind of like a direct, indirect analogy, because, swimming, we think about, again, we are primordial beings, primordial energies from that primordial mother, energy. And, the energy of the subconscious mind, in essence, and again, dealing with our psychic abilities, intuition, all that is connected with water, that feminine aspect of water, being in spirit. Which spirit itself is fire, but again, like the realm of, dealing with spirit, is more of a feminine aspect. So if I'm a better swimmer than land dweller, and again, it's acting that like if I'm a better swimmer, or if I'm used to being in, dealing with spirit and not being in a bodysuit. But if I'm a better swimmer than a land dweller, then it would be advantageous for me to stay in the water, perfecting my skill, and perfecting my skill so much that the other being actually backs off, knowing that it was losing the battle in the first place, and the only chance it had was to trick me into coming on land. So let me say that again. I'm again for scenario vibes. Again, because it is about Babylon. See, that's another thing too, which you'll realize. Like when I get in these like finding words for it, because I like my higher self is letting me know that too, like filters of words. Like, well, if I say a certain word, people only have a certain filter of viewing this word being said in this manner and no other way. So I have to, like, be careful with words I use to make sure the message gets delivered, So again, when I'm saying knowing that this battle is better fought in the realm of spirit, not meaning, again, not in a contradiction to what I said earlier when I say battle, again, the battle is with ourselves, So again, if I'm a better swimmer than land dweller, then it would be advantageous for me to stay in that water, you know what I'm saying? Perfecting my skill, meditation, doing what I gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Perfecting my skill so much so that the other land dwelling being, that land dwelling being that's like, come on, come fight me on land, like come up here, you know what I'm saying? So, again, as I'm perfecting my skill in that water, so much so to where that other being like, oh shit, you know, my trick didn't work. I tried to call them up here on land, but they knew to just sit there and perfect. And not only were they smart enough to not come up on land and deal with me, but they've been sitting in the water practicing, on some shit that, if I do try to step into their realm, they'll definitely whip up on me. And the fact that they beat me just in the fact of not coming on land, because here it is, well, I need their attention to survive. You know, if they don't pay attention to me, I don't go into this next 5D. Think about that, like certain things don't go into our future because we're not paying attention to it no more. So, what would be the best, thing to do if we don't want to see certain things that's going on in our realm? Then let's view the things that we do want to see. Let's work on the things that we do want to see in our now. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's at. So again, that land dweller realizes shit. Like, let me back off, because it was a losing battle in the first place, and now that they know better, now I'm really done lost the game. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, that's what I was speaking to earlier when I kind of came across this and back off. But like as I said that, I felt a little download that maybe this psychologist, how we got tricked into coming into this realm, in the earthly plane in particular. But like that psychology is how we got tricked into coming down into this realm in the first place. Because we are about physical experience. Again, we've been going to these different realms and stuff like that, but this plane was known for being difficult to lead. The earth plane is like that. Again, like that pleasure, like the pleasure is up there. Like, oh yeah, you be able to physically have these little pleasures, this and that. But it's harder to leave this place. You know what I'm saying? Compared to other places, other realms that may not be, again, that's why, again, like a blessing and a curse. Everything's like a blessing and a curse. That's why the earth, you done heard it being spoke of like, oh, this is the realm of existence. That's, this is the plane to come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody want to come to earth, but then in that same breath, we're like, bro, we trapped in this motherfucker and trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, it's like you see that little balance in that aspect. Like, well, this is just a plane that was difficult to leave, But again, I caught a download that, the whole vibe was like, the beings or whatever of this realm. Like, I bet y'all can't come down here and leave. Since you so mighty, since you God and you say you so strong and mighty, God, then come to this realm, and see if you could leave with knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? And like, I am source, and shit, if I can't go through that, then how powerful am I really? You know what I'm saying? If I can't go to your little realm and come out of it. Then we came to this vision like, oh shit, it was harder than we expected. You know what I'm saying? Again, kind of be it or not, to a certain extent, maybe a little flash of our ego. So it's again like, oh, and I could do this. you know that's like, just again different levels of the psychology of us being, in this realm of existence. And also speaking to, another aspect I want to speak on right quick, which one better, a gun or knowing magic on a level where you can combat a gun? And again, being the change you want to see, I'm operating with magic, and again, being the change you want to see as I clean up my body, as I, raise my vibration, I start to be in alignment with my higher self, my soul purpose. And a part of that, being connected with my higher self, man, I love dealing with magic. I love learn about my metaphysical body and aspects of it. Part of that also teaches me how to deal with magic and how to protect myself and how to, and also if needed to send energy towards somebody, you know what I'm saying? And but that didn't come from me like, oh, I'm in opposition against the government, so let me learn these magic. No, it's from, again, raising my vibration, doing my spiritual work. And I just tend to gravitate towards dealing with magic. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't, again, I'm in alignment with my higher self, and that's what my higher self loves to do. You know, so again, I'm not looking at it as, I'm in this battle up against this. No, in fact, if any battle I'm dealing with is, again, it's an internal battle. You know, more and more we're gonna start to realize that, again, of course, we have physical actions in this realm, but our subconscious mind manifests everything. So if we all would program our subconscious mind to not pay attention to certain characters or beings or certain things that are hindering to our growth, then those things will be eliminated. You know, that's why certain things troll so much, to just like, hey, look at this negativity. Hey, look at it. Like, remember me, bring me into the 5D. No, bring me into the 5D. No, get out of the way. Bring me into the 5D. That's basically what's going on. Bring me into 5D, because I can't do the own work to get to 5D. I have to use magical beings like Pokemon or like genies, you know. Hence the reason why the government always tried to get, people, especially highly melanated people, along with the program, because that quote unquote melanin, carbon, whatever, that energetic substance that creates a connection to the universe, you know, it allows for a stronger vibration of manifestation. So if I pump my ideas to these beings or through these beings, I can manifest what I'm trying to manifest. So again, it's like, hey, look at me. Like, oh shit, they not paying attention to us. Matter of fact, they really not feeling threatened by us at all. We gotta, hey, we about to bomb North Korea. Hey, we got these guns. Hey, and again, piping information. That's why we gotta be careful with, like, where, again, where you end up being the avenue of fear mongering for them. Where it's like, oh yeah, they got FEMA camps and this and that. And again, ain't nothing wrong with us being aware, but it gets to a certain point where, all right, are we helping to transmute this energy, or are we keeping this energy alive? You know, through our focus and what we're paying attention on. That's why, like the importance of, dealing with, focus being on yourself, and then, the immediate family, friends, and, community, friends. But, again, though, it's an inner situation, and again, it trickles outward. So when I say it's about the inner work, remembering again that the inner work trickles outward by default. You know what I'm saying? By default, you're gonna take action. So again, that's somebody saying that, at least when it's coming from me, whenever I'm talking about, doing inner work and going within and making sure you not paying attention too much to the external world, I'm saying it from a position of, again, that is the first and foremost priority, because as you take care of your inner universe, again, automatically we are being, matter of fact, we got iron in our blood instead of magnesium, because if we had magnesium, we'll probably be having chlorophyll. If we had chlorophyll, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't have that friction of that iron, creating that fire and that energy to be able to move. That's why plants are less mobile. Still move, because photosynthesis, growing, sprouting, fruits are growing food. That's movement. That's living. To those of y'all who think you're not killing fruits and vegetables just because they don't scream and holler like animals, you're wrong. You're not wrong. You're just very inaccurate. But yeah, that whole vibe of us again we are active automatically, you know what I'm saying? So through, you know, just being, you know, again, we gonna take action. You know, like you would have to, and that's where they do try to get people in the new age movement, like they trying to get you to be completely inactive, like don't look at it, don't touch it, don't, you know what I'm saying? But but on their end it's to a level of where, again, where you just trying to stick your head in the sand and just not look or know or have knowledge of anything. Again, like there's a balance and there is a certain level of awareness that you want to have of the things that's going on around you. But again, like from my own experience with the news, it's like I don't have to watch the news. Like when something is happening in the news for me to know about, like I'll be at a store, at a crystal shop, or anywhere, you know, it'll come to me anyway. And somebody will go to talking about something that's going on in the news. You know, so basically kind of you know, let me know what's going on. Like the universe let me know, like, hey, this is what you do need to be aware of that's going on in the news. You know, just like because again, say for instance, for somebody in my position, I articulate myself well with dealing with certain information, and I'm able to deliver information in a way that's, you know, easily digestible. So it's a part of my purpose to make sure I'm aware of certain situations externally that other people may not be able to break down or understand. You know, is me just, but again, just to have enough awareness to look at that situation, bam, nah, I'm gonna run it. I don't have to constantly like watch CNN every day. All right, let me go turn on CNN tomorrow, and let me go turn on, like, no, you know, I just need to know, you know, again, and it's trusting and believing and knowing that, again, you are a source on a human experience, you know, like trust your source. Like that whole vibe of feeling like you have to watch the news is fear itself, because you're fearing, you're scared of the unknown, just like the government who's trying to, you know, that's rebelling right now because they fear the unknown. I always speak about that. Like the the evil villain in movies is the most fearful, most scariest person in the movie, as much as they make them seem like, oh, I am the ruler of the universe. Well, all that stems from is they scared of change. They're scared of the chaos of the universe, you know. They want to be able to control every aspect of their being, which is a scary ass way to live. You know what I'm saying? It's a fearful, you know, aspect of our being, you know. I gotta control every aspect. That's why I always make the example why a dog is man's best friend, you know, man, the masculine energy, logic, control, you know. So why, you know, with the aspect of like with Western civilization, or the European aspect of like, you know, taking the man last name, ownership, like you get married, you take my last name. And then also in the reverse, uh, homosexual mentality vibe of like, you know, the woman should uh, come second to a man, and a man and all men come first. But like with marriage, it's the woman that should be, in which I'm not condoning, I'm just talking of the process of how they do marriage. But like you know, it should be the male walking up the aisle and not the man waiting for his bride to walk up the aisle. You know what I'm saying? Because the representation of conception, you know, that sperm going up the canal and meeting that, you know, that wound or that egg, that wound man, you know, the woman, compared to where they got it on the reverse, you know. Psychology create a subconscious programming where men think they, you know, again, better than women, that they could fuck over women and stuff like that. It's just subtleties in, you know, again, it's subtly in everything though. So where it just ultimately give you a, you know, a programming of like, a matter of fact, reason why some people was allowed to be famous on a rap level, you know. Some people, again, like society try to get you to bitches that ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And as I say that, I'm just quoting it. Because, Lord, matter of fact, we're saying that, uh, can't even put into words, you know, how much love and reverence and respect I have for the divine feminine energy. And matter of fact, I deal with Kali Ma, so like my energy, yeah, you know, that energy ain't playing no games with the disrespect, you know, and the vibe. But again, you know, uh, that whole vibe on. And let me get back to that though, right quick. Again, which one better, a gun or knowing magic on a level where you can combat a gun? You know, and you realize like it's the fear that have you where, and as I'm saying this too, because I don't knock anybody who who feels the need to have a gun and this and that, but just always realize again, like we attract those situations, and again back to how I spoke about, like we want to take this to the spirit realm, like we are spiritual beings, of course on a physical plane level, of course I could do things I could do things well on the physical realm as well, but again, like in the aspect of like what nobody wins in war, you know what I'm saying, like and if you feel like you are, again, like if we dealing with a certain energy, I'm gonna deal with it from an aspect of trusting my inner source, because by feeling like I have to run to get a gun, that's like feeling like, oh, something going in me or something going to take me out. Like source is not going to protect me right now, and somebody could come to me and kill me, so I need this gun. Like, I mean, somewhere, because again, the subconscious is like on some 100% shit. Like, like, what, again, as much as I'm being open-minded about the aspect of people, liking guns or whatever, at the end of the day, it is a subconscious programming of source not gonna save me, but this gun will. Like point blank period. Again, a brethren could be, oh yeah, I believe in source. Again, if you truly know that you are God on a human experience and that you aren't going where, it's two reasons why that situation. Because another thing too, I ain't going nowhere, so why do I have to hold this gun to protect myself? Aren't we talking about trying to tap into this this high plane anyway? Ain't it's about like knowing this world is not my home and shit, like being happy to transition out of this place? You know what I'm saying? So why would I have that gun unless I'm fearful, unless I'm again, unless they done tricked me into trying to take the battle to their playing field, like basically like taking the ball, like literally taking your ball, walking out your house, and then going to their court where all their fans at and all the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because here it is where you could learn, again, you could learn magic on a level to be able to to protect yourself on that level, you know what I'm saying? And say, for instance, a person might have, well, no man, I might get shot before I finish learning about it. Bam. Now listen to that. Oh man, I may. So I mean, not my now, this is not happening my now, but I may in the future get shot before finishing learning about this. That's fear. You're not being in your now right now. Does somebody have a gun to your head? No. So, all that what you're speaking about, again, is you way in the future scaring yourself about a situation that ain't even here. Are you way in the past, over focusing on some past situations. We deal with the past and relevance when it's relevant to our now. Yes, we take a little, a little vibe, a little recap at the past. Or we glimpse into the future, on a level we're dealing with relevance to our now, you know what I'm saying? Like how I glimpsed into the future, saw that, all right, people's going to be spiritually awake, and YouTube is this platform that's constantly growing. I'm going to start doing YouTube videos. It's like, again, peeping into the future. But again, like if a person like, oh no man, I ain't got time to learn this and that, that's fear. And here it is, the contradiction where in the same breath though that person would call themselves God, and like I'm God, I'm this, I'm that. And again, not knocking nobody, because I understand, we going through our growths, I'm not perfect on my growth. There's so many different aspects that I'm constantly learning about myself that I'm constantly have to grow from, and energy of having to transmute, stuff like that. So again, none of us perfect here, but again, I would rather learn how to deal with these energies. You know what I'm saying? Here it is. Look at Marie Laveau. In any of Marie Laveau's stories, were those people fearful of her because she had a gun? Was the Haiti Revolution, like, was it, oh man, them Haitians had so many guns? Or was it because of that voodoo work? You know what I'm saying? Was it because of, that Santeria, that voodoo, that Yoruba, doing that work? You know what I'm saying? Was it because of that? Or was it because they had guns and they outshot, uh, you know, those people just pound for pound? We had more guns and more people. So that's why, no, like again, Marie Laveau's story. She had an obituary in New York Times, like a melanated woman from New Orleans in the South, you know, being praised in the New York Times. Her obituary was in New York Times. And it wasn't from, wielding a gun. She was putting in the work, going into the courthouse and making judges shiver, not because she threatened to shoot them. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's just a perspective to look at. Again, I'm not knocking, how you know what I'm saying? We it's a free will universe. We all have unique vibrational signatures. We all going through karmic energy, you know what I'm saying? We working through karma, because I'm seeing some stuff pop up right now where we all, again, like, what, just sources really exposing things, and matter of fact, I humbly say again that, you know I'm not perfect, and a part of the closest thing to perfection that I know, as far as being perfect, is realizing that I'm not perfect. Is realizing that, you know, that source on this human experience. I didn't come down here to be perfectly like the source that I am in that essence. Like, I came down here dealing with this human bodysuit, on a human experience. But again, when it comes down to, our spiritual, this paradigm shift, I should say, it's again, if I'm a spiritual being, if I'm a water being, I'm not trying to go into the realms of where this situation is advantageous for, the person who's trying to, hinder my spiritual growth. And again, the person that's trying to hinder your spiritual growth is inside of you. Point blank, period. It's those little voices that's making you worry about. Like, think about it. Before something could even bother you externally, it's your own inner voice that's bothering you first and foremost. So before a situation could turn into somebody doing you something, it starts with you. You killing yourself. Again, like what people attract. Right quick, and I'll probably leave on this note. I told this story multiple times, but the story of, and it probably changes, but it's more so the context. But as far as it changes on what disease it is, but it's a story where they had like this yogi, you know, this Zen master, this yogi, he meditate in a little town. He'd be kind of meditating in the outskirts of the town or whatever, and then he saw a disease. We're just gonna say the smallpox, so to say. He saw the disease of smallpox, personified as a human, uh, about to walk past him, and go into the town. And he was like, wait, hold on now. He was like, it's like, man, you can't be going into the town killing people and, spread smallpox. He was like, and smallpox, and the smallpox, again, smallpox disease personified, told a yogi, like, hey, bro, you know, I'm not going for no massacre or nothing like this, but this is like my divine work. Like, I'm going down here. Like, I have two people to, to bring in the transition. And in so many words, he told the yogi, like, bro, you know how divine order works. You know what I'm saying? Anybody more, if anybody know, that, hey, bro, I got to pick these two bodies up and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Divine order work, And the yogi was like, well, all right, that is true. It was like, so, all right, I'll let you pass. But he's like, but only take those two people, that you said you were going to take, no more, you know what I'm saying, than those two people you said you were going to take. And then when that yogi, when the smallpox, basically the small, situation happened and come the next day, think the smallpox had already left or whatever. Oh no. The smallpox coming out, and then the yogis see that like over 14 people had transitioned, you know, and so the yogi go run to the smallpox disease, and he's like, wait, bro, hold on, man. He's like, you said we had an agreement. You was only gonna take 2 people. You was only gonna transition 2 people. You know, transition, death, kill, whatever. You was only gonna transition 2 people. You transition 14. What's going on? In the smallpox was like, hey, bro, I did take my 2 people, but he's like, I have no control over what other people, cause through their own fears, So in so many words, he's like, those other people died through the fear of seeing those 2 people I took, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, basically, I took those 2 people from the smallpox. I took them, uh, took those 2 people with the disease that I am, but it was the fear that killed those other people. They saw those 2 people I took, you know what I'm saying, and got fearful and like, oh shit, that might happen, you know what I'm saying? And then they end up getting the smallpox as well, you know what I'm saying? Like they basically, fearfully asked for it as well, you know what I'm saying? So they got what they asked for, you know. So you see with that story, that aspect of, fear creates the situation. And it wasn't the smallpox that killed them other people. It was their fear, you know. So just keeping that in perspective, you know, it's the fear. That's why it's so important for us stepping into this Christ consciousness, and knowing we are a source on a human experience. But again, don't be duped by the vibe of somebody trying to get you to go externally on this external battle. It's an internal or internal situation. But that's basically it. Again, remembering with the filters, filters are anything that distorts or shapes our perception of something so that it obscures the reality of what's going on. So, because to think about it too, as above, so below. If a part of the body, like different parts of the body felt like inferior or superior, you know, then the body would, be in dis-ease, literally. And the same thing is what happens on this plane of existence as us being the little cells on this body. If we are at dis-ease, if dis-ease is going on within our, bodies, then it trickles out into the bigger body of the plane of existence called, Earth. Matter of fact, if our body had that type of ego, so yeah, if our body had the same type of ego, so the red blood cells thinking they all that, the white blood cells feeling inferior, the heart thinking it's all that, and the kneecap thinking it's inferior, like all these different aspects. So it's like, oh, I ain't working for the heart. The heart think it's all that, and just shut down, bam. And now all of a sudden, like, man, what happened, bro? My leg went out. Or well, the ego within your leg was like, fuck that. The heart think it's all that, and then the heart like, yeah, I am all that. And what? I pump all the body to the blood. Fuck the rest of y'all. And then it's like, well, shit. If you won't be able to continuously pump if all the rest of the body shuts off. You know what I'm saying? Like, as important as a heart is to the body. Again, it's a you see a symbiotic relationship. Like a interconnected little web of one helping the other and vice versa. Yeah, the levels of the task that certain organs and cells have may vary. Again, our unique vibrational signature, but for the most part, they're all a part of one big body. And making this body operate on a certain type of level. But again, our if our body had that type of ego, we would basically transition. Because again, everything, our internals will be at war, And then you see again, all of it stems back that inner universe, inner work. But that's basically it. Again, reason why the programming of the subconscious mind is so important. You know, uh, because that's what basically, the reality that you're dealing with and you seeing, like, oh man, it's hard for me to manifest money or this and that. Matter of fact, with that being said, like, even with saying that statement, you kind of get a hint at what's going on in your subconscious just by you blurting that out. Because you'll start to realize too, like, it's no coincidence that people say the things that they say. You know, like, that's why sometimes it's uncomfortable to a certain extent with me, like, what a psychic abilities could get overwhelming, like when you know too much about people to a certain extent, it can, like, get overwhelming when you, like, when you have too much insight on the situation. It's like, oh, like, I see they little sparks flying, but I ain't want to know that though, or whatever the case may be. But I digress. Peace. Happy now. Now is a vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.